Alright people, Brad back again with another video. I'm going to talk about VAR in this video. So, thankfully it didn't affect Man United yesterday. There wasn't any VAR really. Obviously there were VAR there, but there was nothing major that needed to be looked at. The Premier League on Saturday in particular had a bit of a shocker. There was some decisions in that game, in the games that we saw. I watched West Ham versus Chelsea at London Stadium, the 12:30 kickoff. It wasn't the worst of them, but my word, VAR had a shocker. Basically, Thomas Soucek basically saved it. Saved a shot which was like deflected towards Fabianski. Should have been a penalty. VAR checked it. At first, they didn't really show the greatest of angles. Like I couldn't really tell, like because of the speed on BT Sport that was showing. I thought if they'd slowed it down, they would have been able to see that Chelsea should have been awarded a late penalty in the last minute. And there was also other calls in the Premier League which are pretty bizarre. Arsenal against Brentford. Arsenal should have won the game. Brentford's goal was offside on two occasions. The first one is Ethan Pinnock. The second one is Christian Norgard, which is more clear-cut. But the VAR, Lee Mason, who is an ex-Premier League referee, only does VAR now, forgot, he forgot to draw the lines. I don't know how you can forget to draw the lines. And even without the lines, it should seem pretty clear that it was offside. Lee Mason is... I've tried to support the referees, but Lee Mason is a difficult one to support sometimes, even when he was refereeing. I remember when he made that mistake when he was refereeing West Brom Brighton, and he gave a free kick to Brighton. He allowed Brighton to take the free kick quickly, and before the ball hit the back of the net, he blew his whistle again for a bizarre reason. And then he gave the goal, and then disallowed it again. There was also another incident. I remember he gave Man United a goal, disallowed an Arsenal goal against United, which I was pleased with. However, I think there was one where a very clear and obvious error from VAR, where Newcastle had a goal disallowed by Lee Mason when the ball comes in. Tyrick Mitchell scores an own goal, but he pushes a Newcastle player into the goalkeeper, but he deemed the foul on the goalkeeper from a Newcastle player, and it ended 0-0. It just seems to be making too many catastrophic errors at the moment. Another one that happened, Crystal Palace against Brighton. The news today, VAR, John Brooks, who was supposed to be doing tonight's game, the Merseyside derby between Liverpool and Everton, and he was supposed to do the Arsenal-Manchester City game, which is possibly a title decider on Wednesday night. Well, John Brooks has been dropped for both of those games because he made an error where he drew the line in the wrong place. He's supposed to draw the line with the last defender. The goal that Brighton scored should have stood. Estepinan's goal should have stood at Selhurst Park, and John Brooks drew the line in the wrong place. And to be fair, I think Howard Webb has done well. He's called a meeting and he's dropped. Well, I don't know about Lee Mason. Is he going to be dropped for the game for this weekend's games? Is he not going to be at any games this weekend? Well, obviously he can only do VAR, but John Brooks, I think he's done the right thing, dropping John Brooks for two massive games. So experienced referee Andre Mariner will do the VAR duty tonight, and David Coote will be in charge of VAR on Wednesday night for the Arsenal-Manchester City game. The Premier League match official appointments will be out tomorrow because there is a Monday night game on tonight. I wonder who Man United will get. I always find that interesting. By the way, it's a bit like, ooh, who've got this week? Ooh, who've got, for this game? Ooh, that's a surprise, It's a bit, I don't know, some of you might find it a bit weird, but I don't know, I find it fascinating. So, anyway, moving on. The most bizarre decision I saw, the one that really, really baffled me, was when Australian official Jared Gillett sent off Mario Lemina for being the third Wolves player running up. Apparently he ran aggressively. He doesn't run aggressively at all. And Ruben Neves said that he didn't say anything bad or anything like that. Jared Gillett just went up to him, showed him the second yellow card, and he was off. Someone said he ran aggressively. Then he said it was something that he said. But Ruben Neves and João Moutinho were right up towards him, and Mario Lemina, he wasn't even close to him. And Jared Gillett decided to give him a second yellow card, which I found a little bit bizarre. To be honest, I thought it was extremely harsh. And I thought, that's very, very confusing from my perspective. It wasn't particularly a great weekend for VAR. Fulham against Forest, no controversies, I don't think there was. Leicester Tottenham, don't think there was any controversies in that one. Bournemouth Newcastle, no, not really. But Sunday's games, yeah, there was no VAR incidents really, which is pretty decent. City's win was routine win. United faced a difficult game against Leeds. It could have been 4-0. United had 2 goals disallowed for offside. It probably would have been harsh on Leeds if it was 4-0, because it wasn't a 4-0 kind of game. And Man United didn't perform particularly well yesterday, but they got the job done. And they got the 3 points, which is fantastic. But yeah, I just wonder if there's going to be any controversy. Sometimes I like that bit of controversy, it gives us a bit of a talking point, it seems like, like Casemiro last week, I didn't think he committed the worst offence on the pitch. I thought he was unlucky to be sent off. A lot of other people thought he wasn't unlucky to be sent off. He thought he was deservingly red carded, but I saw Jordan Ayew do exactly the same thing. It wasn't 2 hands, it was just the 1 hand, but he grabbed Fred by his throat, but Casemiro's was more like holding him away. It was near to his neck, but it was like holding him by the shirt, and apparently they were hugging after, and Will Hughes was trying to wind up the Man United fans. Probably sounds like I'm making excuses, but because he's a big player for us, and maybe there was that emotional side that came out. But yeah, there's always that good debate that happens. And look, I'm looking forward to tonight's game. I'm looking forward to the game on Wednesday. The Premier League, there's some really interesting fixtures coming up this weekend as well. Newcastle, Liverpool, Nottingham Forest, Manchester City. That's a 3 p.m. game on Saturday. Aston Villa against Arsenal. That's not going to be an easy one for Arsenal. Everton against Leeds. Massive game down at the bottom of the Premier League. Chelsea up against managerless Southampton. Brentford are taking on Crystal Palace. That one's a tricky game to decide. Because I know Brentford are unbeaten in 10. But again, I've put my Premier League predictions out there on Instagram, so you can have a look on there. I'll be watching Tottenham West Ham at the weekend. The weekend before my birthday as well, which is next Wednesday, which I'm really looking forward to. But yeah, guys, VAR had a bit of a stinker again this week. Howard Webb in charge of VAR. I think in charge of the referees. I think he's done all right. I think it happened yesterday, the exact same thing with the Lamina thing. Ruben Diaz got booked for being the third player running up to the ref, and I found that bizarre. I don't know if this is something Howard Webber's instructed the referees to do or what, but I'm not sure I like it. You know, I admit Bruno Fernandes is my favourite Man United player. If Bruno Fernandes did that, he would get sent off every week. You know, it's bizarre, isn't it? You know, I think if there's like, I remember when we drew with Newcastle and there were like about 6 or 7 players. I'm surprised like the referee didn't book anyone then. You know, that's worthy of a yellow card. Say if there's about like 4 or 5 players running, say if there's about 5 or 6 players running up to you, yeah, maybe you can book them. I don't know if they're absolutely surrounding you, but it wasn't the case at all on those 2 occasions. But please, guys, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. This is Brad the Lad. I'll see you all in a bit. Have a great day.